Today we're going to do a cabin air filter replacement on a VF Commodore. This is the last of our Australian made cars. Cabin air filter is located on the passenger side in the engine bay, and to get to it you have to remove this cover. So to remove the cover, you remove these clips just by pulling the centre up, part of the clip. So you do that on all, and two in the centre. As this cover is in two pieces, so just remove the 8 clips. They're all the same, so just prise up the centre piece, take them out, and then just remove the outer part and just work your way around until you've removed all of the 8 clips. The next step is to remove this weather strip that runs along underneath the windscreen. So gently pull it to the passenger side and unclip it. Here you can see the hook and the small hole in the rubber. And then just slowly and carefully work your way along every clip. Be careful not to tear the hole in the rubber, otherwise you've got no way of attaching it back on. So just gently go all the way along. You need to remove the rubber to the bit over halfway point where this cover has a join in it. So just move. The next step is to separate the two halves of this cover from this section of the cover. They're held on by a plastic clip, and there. What we also usually do is start the windscreen wiper and get the wiper arm up out of the way, and then quickly switch off the ignition while it's in the upright position. It just gives you better access through this section here, because these can be a bit fiddly to get off this cover. And remove it. I usually get my hands right under the back, and then you can pull the cover up out of this rubber strip. So get your hand right back there, and you can push it up, and then it will unclip easy. Once the cover is unclipped from in front of the windscreen, you can then gently pull the cover away. This is the back of the cover. It clips in along the windscreen rubber. It's got a small taper and a lip on that side just to hold it in the rubber. Your cabin air filter is then located just in here. Most of them only came with a mesh screen originally, so first thing to do is remove the mesh screen. If you're having trouble getting it out, you can also remove this piece of tin here. It gives you better access and makes it easier to clean out any of the debris that's down below the cabin air filter. So you can get them out by just stopping here, but it's usually easier just to remove this tin shield. So just remove your 5 bolts in front of the windscreen. They're 10mm. Just go and do that for all 5 bolts. once you've removed your 5 bolts, you can then lift this cover up to give you better access to the cabin filter. It's in here. And before you pull the cabin filter out, it's advisable to clean any of the leaves and debris that may have fallen in front of the filter, so that it doesn't fall into the fan that's directly behind this filter. Sometimes what's also easier when you're trying to get the old mesh screen out is just get a pair of pliers and just grab the old mesh screen that was in there originally. So just pull the filter out, and this is the old mesh screens that they used to use in them, just to stop leaves and dirt getting into the fan behind it. This is what it looks like with the old mesh filter out. So as you can see, they get a bit of dust and dirt down in here. So before you put your new filter in, give it a good clean out and make sure there's no dirt still in there, especially along the bottom edge where the filter needs to seal. Along the bottom edge here. Try and keep that nice and clean so that the filter gets a good seal when you install our new filter. These are our three layers. So you install it with the coarse layer facing towards the engine bay, and you slide it out. Just lift your piece of tin up and then just slide it in. They need to be bent slightly to allow them to clear the opening. So just with a bit of fiddling into the channel on the left hand side. So again, just slide it in until it goes all the way in, and then again on the left hand side you'll see it slides down into the small channel. So just drag, so push your filter all the way in down in the bottom corners, push it all the way down and push it all the way back towards the cabin at the bottom. And then once it's pushed in all the way down at the bottom, you can then push the top in. It's a fairly tight fit so that the filter doesn't fall forward. So push the top in until it seals under the lip at the top, so that you get a good seal all around the filter. So this is what the filter looks like when it's installed. It's a nice tight fit and a good seal all around the edges. So now you just have to do the reinstall of all the covers. So first thing, just put your 5 bolts back in the steel splash guard in front of the windscreen. This is what it should look like with your 5 bolts reinstalled. You're now going to install the cover, the top cover, which fits in this groove in the rubber through here. So you're going to be trying to locate that gently in that rubber. So what you do first is install the cover. At a bit of an angle around your bonnet hinges and making sure that it goes underneath the foam. Just make sure you install a soft piece of rubber just around your bonnet hinge. And once you get it around the bonnet hinge, you'll see that the cover almost goes back into place. So your next step is to get the cover to sit in that groove in the windscreen rubber. Side rubbers that run down the side of the windscreen. So you want to get it underneath this side cover, and you're aiming to get the plastic here into this groove. So make sure this piece of rubber stays up, tucked up into the windscreen. Now what you're aiming to do is to get this cover just to click into the locating points and the tabs to lock in all the way through. There's a tag there that pushes in, and a couple of smaller ones just in here. So with a couple of gentle taps with your hand, it will all go back into place, ready for the sealing strip to locate on the little tabs. So that's the small hole in the rubber strip. So what you're trying to do is just stretch the rubber until it goes into it, like so. And then you do it all the way along until the rubber's joined up at the far end. Okay. Just gently with the rubber, find the hole, and then just get it started. And the rubber will then find its own way in, all the way along. And then just make sure that you install the rubber in the little block on the end so that it sits in there, and then your rubber will sit like that. And then once the bonnet's been shut a few times, that will then sit down back where it was originally. Sometimes they stick up just a little bit, but it will sit down once the bonnet's closed on it. Back in, just install them, push them in, like so. And then install the centre pin. There's a cutout on the pin, so it only wants to go in one way. So just push it in, and snap it shut, and then do all that, and then do that for all of the pins. That's it, and the job's done.